Everybody has a story to tell, and this here is my story that I'm going to tell you. My name is Ogden Delbert Yancer, and I'm 150 years old. I've lived here on this high desert plain that butts up against the western slope of the Colorado Rocky Mountains the whole of my life. I don't have any quarrel with living in the mountains, but I just don't like all them green trees. They're all bunched up next to each other, choking up the valleys, and they're blocking my view. That's why I'd rather live here. I can stand in the opening of this rock house that I built, and I can peer out west across the rust-colored desert sands all the way to Utah, where there are the sandstone arches. I can breathe here, and the view is absolutely beautiful. I crawled from the womb of a catamount, screaming at a blue moon, and I fell onto the backs of rattlesnakes. I didn't cry. I wasn't scared. I just stared up into the dark sky at all them stars staring down at me. Them rattlers took me into their catacombs in their den, and they took me in as their own. I suckled the sweet, warm, dusty taste of rattlesnake milk until I was fast enough to strike a mouse and feed myself, and them rattlers pushed me away, pushed me out of their den, and I went off into the desert on my own. I was on the rim of the Black Canyon, sunning myself, the Gunnison River way down below in the gorge, when a golden eagle came across and snatched me up, taught me to fly. I soared and soared higher and higher on the hot desert cushion of air over the desert for years and years. Until one day I was over the river. I was hunting for food, looking for fish, and I began to spiral down to the water. No matter how hard I flapped my arms, I couldn't stay up into the air. So I floated down, and I landed in the snow-chilled waters of the Gunnison River, and I went under the surface. And I swam with trout and salmon. They were my brothers and sisters. We swam every eddy. We swam every rapid. And we swam every calm pool, from the crystal blue headwaters of the Gunnison all the way down to where it flowed into the murky, meandering Colorado River. One day I was in my favorite pool, up close to the bank. I was waiting to leap from the water and catch me a mayfly for breakfast, when a bear reached in with his long claws and scooped me up out of the water. He carried me into the bushes. I knew he was going to eat me. He opened his mouth wide. His teeth were long and pointed and yellow-stained, and his breath was rancid with the smell of rotted flesh. But behind the bear, I could see a man. He was sneaking up toward us. He slowly pulled his bow. I could see his blue eyes. They sighted down the single arrow that was held taut in his bowstring, and he loosed the arrow, and the bear leaped and roared in pain, and he tossed me from his arms, and I fell to the ground. He spun around and stood face to face with the man. I can see in the bear's rump that the arrow was buried deep. The bear rose up, raised his paws above his head, and he roared again. He was going to maul the man, and I was afraid for the man because I knew he was no match for the bear. But the man chanted. He chanted and grunted. He chanted, wow, wow, and the bear, he calmed. And the bear, he brought his front paws onto the ground, and he turned away from us, and he started walking down river, and he never looked back. Well, I was flipping and flopping on the ground, gasping for air. I wanted to get back into the river. But the man came and he picked me up. He put his lips to mine and he breathed into my mouth. He held me to his bare chest, and I can feel the beating of his heart touching the beating of my heart, and I can feel his blood flowing. Felt like his blood was flowing into my body, and he set me to the ground. And I stood on two legs, on two human legs. I was a boy, and then lightning quick, I was a young man. It was as if it was a flash of lightning. I felt his hands on my cheeks. They were warm, dry, and soft. I heard him whisper to me. He said, "I am your father. I am Snow Poochev Yancer." And he said he was going to take me home. And he took me home to this rock house. And I think now that I'm telling the story, I'm filled with his spirit. I think I better go. I think I need to cleanse my body with smoke, because I have spoken of the great chief, the great spirit, Snow Poochev Yancer. So I must go. I'll be back.